Hey y'all, it's Wildcat6305 coming at you from Ike's Treehouse, formerly outside of Augusta, Georgia. Uh, this is January 1937. So starting my summary video. Um, got to playing, had the sat down, had my German turn, and then I went straight into my Soviet turn, and then I was like, oh wait, I need to make a video. So, anyways, not a lot happened. Not a lot has happened so far between the German and Soviet turn. Just mainly at this stage in the game, just buying troops really, and so showing what the buys were. And so here you can see what Germany got. But in addition, they spent two IPP and researched and got advanced mechanized on stage two. They also uh, lend leased $1 to my Turkey. That's my Turkey. That's my Turkey board right there. They lend leased $1, enrolled, and paid $2 to influence Turkey, and were unsuccessful. So so right now, still both the Soviets and the UK have 1 point. The rest of their builds, they built a Stuka, a tactical bomber. They built a self-propelled artillery, built a Volkssturm militia, and lend-leased a fighter to Nationalist Spain. And they also lend-leased two supply tokens to Spain as well, so they could do two additional recruitment roles. So Spain ended up, and as I mentioned, they get one recruitment role, and with the two additional supply tokens, they had three rolls, but only one of them hit, and so they got one infantry out of the deal, and this one right here. Germany. So we had the fighter down here. Originally, I was thinking about doing a little airplane shuck and take the German fighter back to Germany, and then fly the plane down with this German infantry to create the Condor Legion. Let me get my camera right. To create the Condor Legion. However, I realized, the transport sitting there in C Zone 15 could run him down there and be just as efficient. So did that instead and left the fighter. So the Nationalist Spain, the Spanish nationals, were able to go in and they took this territory out. However, the Spanish Republicans took it back. And just in case you're wondering, well, I'll cover that in the Russian video. But they took this territory, and then they next turn the Spanish Republicans took it back. So stuff's going pretty well right now. So it's 3-3 essentially, but the Republicans hold Madrid, and so the Spanish nationalists are trying to circle Madrid, but not get too spread out, vulnerable to an attack, like what just happened a minute ago. Other things with the Germans, walked in and annexed Slovakia. So now Germany has two oil wells for them, two oil derricks, so they can produce two oil per turn. I did go back and decide to kind of redo modify one of the Oil Wars rules. In the out of box Oil Wars set, Germany's supposed to be able to get one oil per turn for free from Venezuela, and three oil per turn from Romania. However, I feel like that's kind of steep for them just to be getting that. So I feel like it'd be better to make it they can pay an IPP for that oil if they want it. So I'm not removing it from them, but they do have to pay the bank if they want to get that oil. Otherwise, the Germans were making 5 oil at the beginning of the game, and really, to me, the trick to making oil wars effective is so here's your what you spend oil on: land operations, air operations, naval, and then if you move strategics, that's another one. If you move capital ships, that's another one. And if you're at war, so right at the beginning of the game, so you out of box you have 6 things to spend oil on, and so I've actually added a seventh of if you lend lease, and then some of the other operations. So right out of the box, Germany is making enough oil to sustain what they're doing. They don't need to go after oil. Historically, part of the reason why Germany was going into Russia was for these oil fields to push their war effort. That's why taking Romania is trying to keep their war effort going. So I feel like by removing some of the availability of oil to the Germans, it plays into more tactically, or it gives you as a German player a little bit more focus on what you need to do, why I need to invade the Soviet Russia, and where do I go? Do you go after Moscow, or do you run down here and try to get the oil fields? So to me, I feel like it forces you into some strategy a little bit more with the oil when you're attacking. Because even in the other game in Global War, sometimes I feel the Germans come up to here, and then it's like, well, where do we go, and why do we go that direction? So, but yeah, so that was the Germans, and so we'll see how it goes from there. And so the Soviets are next. Okay, the Russians this turn, they didn't have a lot of IPP starting out. They had 12, so they spent 2, and they got stage 1 of advanced artillery, and then they spent the rest of it. They lend-leased a mountain infantry to Republican Spain there, and let's see, and then they bought 2 militia. And then they lend-leased militia to CCP. So that should be 2, 4, 6, 10 to 12. Yeah, so it adds up. And then they also cashed in some oil for some supply tokens, and then they lend-leased the supply tokens to, let's see, they sent 2 to nationalists or to Republican Spain, and that really didn't pan out. So they rolled duds on all their stuff. But yeah, really didn't do much with this. Just moved a couple dudes around. Oh, so they did pay some oil, and they moved some ships around and moved planes. The big thing was, like I said before, in the German. So Germany had taken, or well, nationalist Spain had taken this territory. So this round, Republican Spain came back and took it back. So this mountain infantry was lend leased here. They went in with a cavalry and an armor car, and went in and took it, and then the armor car went back to Madrid after they took it, and both planes came in and took it. There was only like infantry and artillery sitting there. But the other big thing is, if you pan out, there are no nationalist Spain ships there. Had a nice little battle right here in C Zone 79, and the Republicans won the day on the sea. So they're kind of having their way right there. And then, so that was really the most excitement of the Soviets' turn. And the CCP, they just reinforced, got an extra dude on the recruitment role. And of course, the Soviets lend-leased them a militia to go and to kind of help hold down some territory, so they'll probably start making a strike next term there. All right, Japanese turn. Moved some ships around and had, let's see, they have 27 IPP right now. So 16, you can see that over there, 16 plus 8, so that's half, is 24 plus a 3 from the Americans. Spent 2 IPP on naval guns, and they did not get that. And they also spent 2 IPP to influence Turkey, and ended up getting that somehow. And then they built a destroyer, a mountain infantry here in China, a light tank, an artillery, and this Kaltang, however you say that, infantry there in Manchuria. So not a whole lot, but just kind of starting to load the bases here to have that northern invasion here. So probably next turn, I'm going to build up. Probably going to look to put down a few infantry because we got these ships here. So probably maybe start building some Marines or a Special Naval Landing Force, and start building that. And so we can have some amphibious assaults going into China here. Okay, going over purchase units for the Commonwealth. UK, this turn, they have purchased a mountain infantry, artillery, and 2 anti-air guns, along with they are completing a minor factory in Cairo. FEC, with them only having a minor factory at the moment, they can only place 1 unit. However, so they'll be placing a Marine, and then they'll also be placing this medium factory, upgrading the one in New Delhi, right now Calcutta. They'll be upgrading to a medium factory. Canada is going to be placing a militia. Anzac will be placing a light tank. France will be placing 2 artillery and 2 minefields. And that's what they have left. Okay, really the only thing that happened interesting of note with the UK, they took out the partisans here in Transjordan, the 2 infantry there. They were successful. Let's see, we placed the factory in Cairo, upgraded to a medium factory in Calcutta, placed a Marine, which I showed you the purchases there a minute ago. Didn't really move anything around down here, and then place units up in the home country. And one thing I plan on doing, so I placed a mountain infantry here. Next turn we're going to move him into Scotland. He was built at that factory, so I'll move him up there. Since these are mountains, I figured, hey, why not put a mountain infantry, get a bonus on defense. And that was pretty much the interesting turn. Placed 2 artillery in Paris because that's the only factory to have, and going to move those out planning to move those out next turn. Probably up closer to Cardia and Lorraine there. Okay, Italy's turn. Nothing too much happened here. They purchased a light tank, this AA, and a dude. So that was their 11 IPP. Let's see. We moved the transport up here, and the last turn. So then they walked across and annexed Albania this turn, and so next turn we moved the 2 guys out of Senya up here. So the next turn we'll bring this transport down, pick up these 2 guys, and go back. Kind of clear out a little bit of Africa, or we may drop them off here. Hadn't figured out quite yet, but next turn build probably want to get a naval transport if I can remember to do that. With playing with the Africa Corps, Italy, Germany will be able to use up to two Italian transports. So maybe get a second one in here anyways. So that's pretty much it. Just kind of really setting up for the next turn. Okay, so the US and KMT turn. US build. Since I'm playing with the Alaskan rules, I had 9 IPP. Just decided to go ahead and start building the railroad and Alcan highway. So figured Alcan would probably be just something kind of good. So up here, so all of that will end up going up there. But I figured this might be a good time to do it. If I don't do it now, it probably won't happen. The other thing, didn't move any units around. But the other thing, I forgot to place pull my minorities at war chip. So ended up getting Buffalo Soldiers and then the Puerto Rican chip earlier. So now I have a infantry in Puerto Rico. And let's see, KMT. Let's see, they went in, what is that territory? Whatever this territory is. Szechuan, I think. Yeah, so they attacked from these 3 territories into the Szechuan, and got down to 3-3, and with it being in the mountains, they were attacking. Let's see, had 2 infantry and a cavalry attacking in mountains with commander, so that canceled out. But they were got down to 3 mountain infantry, so they decided to pull back because the commander doesn't help mountain infantry in the mountains. But yeah, so they pulled back and regrouped and placed the troops back out. So their build was 2 infantry and a cavalry, and they went right in these 2 areas here. All right, so that completes January 1937. So we'll be continuing on to the July 1937. Sorry, kind of was a few weeks in the time that this video coming out and the last one, somewhere between the UK and Japan, the Japanese UK turn. I went on vacation, so was a couple weeks away, so it just kind of took me a little bit longer to get this one out than I hope it will normally take. But all right, well, there's just kind of a quick pan of the board here where everything is, and we'll see you in July 37.